Alright, so today we're going to be doing some molding. I'm going to be doing the forearm for my Mark. So the items that you'll need today: hot glue gun, some glue sticks, a pair of shears, a container to mix it up, and usually glass is better, but since this was silicone to begin with, it should be fine. Some mold release, industrial maintenance coating thinner. Basically, we're looking for Naphtha. So cardboard, 100% silicone caulking, and of course caulking gun. So what we're going to do is we're actually going to go ahead and seal off this section here, so we can make a solid piece that can be coated with the house silicone to make a mold. So let me go ahead and start cutting that up right now. I'm just going to do this. I just plugged in the hot glue gun, so I don't know if it's ready yet, but we'll see. And basically what I'm doing is just trying to get an edge for this so I can start cutting along the edges. So see how I kind of creased it there? So I'm going to go to the crease. Just cut it right up to the crease, and then we'll fold it over and stick it on the inside and then glue the tabs. It doesn't have to be perfect, we're just trying to make a seal that will go on the inside of this. So let's see. Just push it on the inside, make sure that it sticks. And the inside edge isn't really that important, so I'm probably going to run a bead of hot glue along the inside of this here. So you can see here now we've got a closed end off here, so I'm going to go ahead and glue the inside of this. Basically we're trying to make it so that the silicone won't be entering into the inside of it and wrapping itself around the item that we want to mold here. So yeah, the hot glue gun's still a little bit cold. Okay, so I'm going to go ahead and glue this back on, and I'm going to mix up the silicone and the Naphtha real quick here, so I'll be right back. Okay, so I've glued the top piece on and I've added this to hold it up off the table, and I packed clay on the inside of here after I did the cardboard. That's for two reasons. Number one, I wanted to get a little bit of thicker edge along here. Number two, it actually seals a little bit better if I missed any hot glue in any of the areas. So that, and I'm also trying to take away from the amount of materials that it would be used to be put in here to make the mold. Considering this is a tapered piece, I'll be doing a glove mold, so I'll be doing it from top down, and then getting the inside and back areas in here. Probably just once this is dry, I'll probably tape this off or cardboard it off once again, and do the same thing. Just flip it upside down, leave a hole in there so I can fill it with fiberglass and gel coat. So that being the case, let me go ahead and put this down, and I'm going to go ahead and throw a glove on real quick. Now what we're going to do is we're going to use a Naphtha to thin out the silicone caulking. Now you can use that, or you can use something else. It's called I believe it's glycol. It's used as an enema thing. So basically you can use that to thin it out as well. They'd be found like a drugstore or whatnot. So what we're going to do is we're going to take the container. I'm going to pop this off here, and we're going to fill it about halfway. We're going to do the first mixture as a half-half mix. So okay, and then now onto the caulking. Okay, and just add the caulking into the okay, I have to poke it. That should work now. There we go. Should be good enough. Okay, and then popsicle stick. Let's go ahead and mix this up now. Now the other thing you could do is close the container up and just shake it up a little bit. Okay, now we got a mixed just house silicone. Let me add a little bit more. Okay. So you can see it's pretty runny now compared to what it was. So what we're going to do is just go ahead and pour this on top. And I'm going to go grab a brush real quick. Let the brush go. Okay, we'll skip the brush then. So basically we're just covering the top of this. Get at least one decent coat on it. Now what I forgot to do was actually shoot the mold release on it, but it's silicone, and this is a pretty well painted piece, so it should be fine. Shouldn't stick too much to it, considering it's also diluted as well. Instead, just getting a good first coat on it. I'll come back in about an hour and then finish up the rest of the coats on this. Basically, we're looking just to get a coat just like we would with normal RTV silicone, but instead we're using regular household silicone. So let me go ahead and finish this up, and then I'll come back in a little bit. Alright, so here's after the first coat. It's starting to dry. I'm going to let this sit for about another half hour to an hour, and then apply another coat with less naphtha put into the house silicone, just 100% silicone. So we're going to let this dry, and then we're going to go from there. So we'll be back soon. Alright, so this is it's a little bit tacky, and it's about time to put the second coat on. So I'm going to use a black layer this time, just so I can see where exactly I'm coating stuff. So, and what we're doing is just adding another layer of silicone on top of this, and just smoothing it all out. This coat's been thinned. Let's see, it's about 75% silicone and about 25% naphtha. So it's a little bit thicker coat. Don't really need it thinned that much because we've already captured the original details with the thinner silicone. So as I said, just pretty much just adding this on here. And so here's the second coat, the black coat that I've added. It's still just a little bit tacky, a little bit wet. This is about 1 tube of silicone, so I'll be probably adding another half tube. So this is about a tube and a half worth of molding material right here. So considering this is about, I don't know, $25, $24 for the regular silicone molding product, and I paid about $5 for about the tube of silicone. It's quite a savings. So we'll see how well the mold comes out with this one here, but for now it seems like it's a quicker, well, not really quicker, but it's definitely a cheaper process to do than actually using RTV silicone. So we'll be back in a second with another. Alright, so after about 2 minutes, actually, it got really hot. I had to knead the whole thing. The center got super hot. So we're going to go ahead and continue. So I would suggest doing probably a minute, take it out, knead it a little bit, and then do another minute, or else you get super hot scalding clay in the center. So here's another minute. Wow, a minute went by pretty fast. Alright, so here's the clay now. It's pretty meaty. And we're left some on the tray. Great. Clean that out. Anyways, so back out to the shop. Alright, back out in the shop. So what we're going to go ahead and do is do this. We're going to put one piece of clay at the bottom. Just keep it as a center point. Nice warm clay will make it stable. So, and then we're going to build up these edges here real quick, foam. These are the edge foam pieces from the cod chest and some other parts that I have made through the past week or so. And I'm just going to go ahead and cut these, just build up enough to build up a clay shelf. these are scrap pieces basically, so can't really do too much with them. And if I do, they're going to be short little pieces, so there's nothing I can really do with them per se, other than cut them. So that doesn't work very well. Let's go out a little further. Alright, that's about halfway on that side, and about halfway on that side. So what we're going to go ahead and do now is take the clay, nice warm squishy microwave clay, and build up a shelf. Now if it drips past this, I'm not really caring, because once the first side's done, I can clip or trim anything that becomes an issue. So alright, well, next comes the fiberglass. So, goodness. Alright, so there we go. We got both our halves. I'm going to smooth this out a little bit and then start doing some fiberglass. Alright, and since this is a junk cheap mold, silicone, I'm going to use junk cheap material. This is a fiberglass, non-woven, not worth structural integrity at all. So this is what I'm going to be using. So horrible as it is, this is what it is. So I'll be applying some fiberglass soon. I just kind of basically stretch this out a little bit. That's a lot of fiberglass for not a whole lot of strength and for a lot of wetting on this material. So this is just regular fiberglass mat, not cloth. So it's a whole lot of fiberglass. Adds a lot of weight to stuff. But as I said, since this is a junk mold, I'm using junk fiberglass as the mother mold. So I'll be doing some fiberglassing on this soon. I gotta go get the respirator and some gloves on, and then I'll be back when this is done to let you see what the details are on this. Alright? You know what? I couldn't see wasting that much material. This is about a quarter of what that is. Basically, what I ended up doing was taking small chunks like this and just placing them. Just because that's a lot of material to wet with fiberglass. It's a big waste. Once again, it's not very structural because it's just a giant, it's like throwing a wig in fiberglass, pretty much. It doesn't have any form or pattern to it, but at least it holds its shape, kind of. So, fiberglass is next. Thanks. Alright, so here we have the mold for the forearm. I'm going to go ahead and take this apart here. And basically with this one, it's kind of messy. It's not a very good mold, but it works for just a simple 1 or 2 off cast. And basically all I'm doing is just kind of peeling the edges of this off. We've already got a rip in this side over here, which will just be fixed with a little bit of Bondo. I'm just going to peel it right off just like a glove. And there we have a piece with just a silicone house latex mold, or silicone mold, sorry. Let's pop it back inside out. I probably can get 1 or 2 more pulls out of this before this rips too much. And I don't think I can add more silicone to this because it's already dried. So, put this back together real quick. That's what the inside of it looks like. It's not too pretty, but it works. So, and then here's the cast piece. It's still kind of sticky. I just poured this probably about an hour or so ago. So, I'll let this sit aside, let it dry, and then finish it up. Here's what the other one looks like. This is the other one that I just pulled out. This is the first one. It came out pretty decent. Needs a little bit of work, but it's, as I said, it's easier than trying to recreate that whole thing. But those are the 2 pieces, and we'll be done with the biceps here pretty soon.